Appreciate, as Manal said, you guys just carving time out for us in this busy season. So I'm Kelly Fox Galvani, and I am part of Smile Potential Dental Practice Growth Coaching. And we just help doctors and teams all around the country, all around the US, from New York to Cali. We're just helping people grow their practices, just eliminate burnout forever and have a lot of fun in dentistry and take great care of people. So that's what we do. We work really closely with Manal and with Jake from Gargle, and it's just so much fun to be here with you guys. So we're going to move quick, and we're going to give you guys a lot of tips and tricks that you can start using right away.
Yes, thank you so much, Kelly. And Kelly and I, we know each other for many years now, and we have a lot of mutual clients. We love her, and if you can tell, we are just like sisters from other mothers, right?
We're shoe sisters, Manal.
We're shoe sisters. We are definitely shoe sisters. And then Jake, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I am way excited to be here. I am right now acting as the Executive Vice President of Client Strategy for Gargle. We are a digital marketing agency. Been in the dental industry about 11 years, and we've done everything from direct mail postcards to website development to Google ads, Facebook ads, writing content, building brands. Rebranding has been a huge thing since the pandemic. So we've been helping a lot of practices with rebrands, going to market, you name it, anything in the dental space that has to do with growing your practice and retaining your patients. So just way excited to be here and talk a little bit about budget allocation today and some best practices, give you some tips that hopefully will give you a little bit stronger foundation for 2023 and setting up some successful plans for tracking your ROI of your marketing.
Absolutely. And that's just so very important, right? So the ROI, figuring out what's going to work, and especially going into 2023 with so many questions that we have right now, with team questions that we have, patient questions that we have. So anybody, again, if you are coming in just now, please use the Q&A at the bottom there to ask your questions as we are going through this. This is going to be quick. There is a lot that's going to happen. We are going to answer your questions as well. And we also want everybody to be done in an hour because we appreciate your time. So in that case, again, you get a bestseller book. I'll pick one winner towards the end, but you must participate and you must ask questions to win it. So Kelly, I know that you are a genius on this, and you and I have had many hours of conversation about this, on making sure that we have ideal patients, but also making sure that we have team members who are able to connect and convert with ideal patients. In a world that we live today, it's very confusing because we are all short-staffed. It seems like everybody's short-staffed, including us. Including us.
Exactly.
Including us, right? So how do we take the team that we have? How do we convert that team to make sure that our patients are converting into higher treatments? So why don't you kind of walk us through some of those steps and strategies? Everybody, take out your pens, take out your papers. This is a time for you to start listening and taking a lot of notes. So Kelly, take us through.
Absolutely. So Manal, great. Thank you so much for teeing me up. I love it. So we are in a really unique time right now. We know that there is this nationwide staffing crisis, and we know that most practices have grown a lot over the last 2.5, 3 years post-COVID, with all that tremendous momentum. We came out of the pandemic with a lot of momentum, and so practices are really shorthanded. And we all know that we want these high quality patients. That's why we're all here, right? We're learning how to market, and how do we attract those patients like a magnet with our vision, patients that want what we have specifically. And that's really the magic of marketing. However, when these great people start reaching out to us via social media and via our website and online scheduling, et cetera, do we have the right players on our team? Do we have enough players on our team to deliver the type of experience that keeps people coming back? And for many practices, that's been a real challenge. So in spite of that challenge, there's also a lot of opportunity, right? Change breeds opportunity. And something that's so unique and something that we can leverage to our advantage is this unique scenario where we have 4 full generations, 4 very unique generations of potential dental team members and doctors. And we have 5 or 6 generations of potential patients, depending on what age range of patients you're caring for in your practice. And so this is a really unique time. And all of these individual generations have a lot of strengths. They have a lot of strengths as team members, and as patients, they have very unique things that motivate them and drive them to make decisions. So if we take all of that information and we combine it, we build an unstoppable team, and we build legions and legions of loyal, raving patient fans. So that sounds pretty good, right? So what I'm going to
it's amazing. It's
right, and
absolutely amazing,
it's such
right?
a unique time. This has actually never happened before. So this
Well,
is
the cool
special.
thing is, like, this is something, Kelly, this is why you're gonna get along so long, because I have a topic called, we are more like than different, marketing through the generations.
Yeah,
And it's so interesting that the marketing that works for boomers does not work for millennials, right?
that's
And
right.
in this right now, I am a millennial. And
Yep.
I think you and Jake are both Gen Xers. So,
We
and I
sure
know that
are.
we have a lot of boomers. If you're a boomer and if you're watching right now, tell us you're a boomer in the chat option so that we know that you're a boomer, because, and you will see how marketing and communication and treatment conversions are very different when it comes to generations. So I love this topic. Yes, I love it.
Let's throw it in there. Okay, so 1 second, I just went to the wrong thing. Sorry, Manal, I'm not as quick as this. You are so much faster with the screen sharing. All right, here we go. So let's talk a little bit about the leveraging the generations that we know we have potentially working in our practices right now. So let's run through this really quickly. And if you guys are interested in this stuff and you want to see it in greater detail, or you want to get your hands on these slides, just throw it in the chat, or shoot us an email, whatever it may be, and I'm happy to share whatever resources I have. So like Manal said, the baby boomers are
Kelly, right now we just see the team development one. You need to open it up, right?
Oh, sorry, Manal.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
See, this is also a generational thing, guys. See, it's working. Yep. It's real.
That's it. I don't do webinars as much as Manal does. I'm much more of a real live type of thing. How are we doing now, Manal? You got me?
Perfect. This is perfect.
Okay.
I love it. Okay.
Okay. Can you see my slide now? We're good, right? Is my slide up?
Yes, we are great.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So let's talk about the baby boomers really quickly. So there are some, variations. If you study this stuff, sometimes they say that the baby boomers started in 1946. Sometimes they say they started in 1945. It doesn't really matter. It's a window, right? And it's a pretty significant window of time. So the baby boomers that are working in practices right now, the things that we love about them is that they are extremely optimistic. They enjoy mentoring, and they have a very strong work ethic. Now, that's not to say that other generations don't, but those are just 3 things that sort of qualify them and make their generation distinctive. Now, when we look at the Gen Xers, 65 to 80 approximately, best work traits for them: independent, innovative, strong communicators. Millennials, Manal, this is you, and I know we have a lot of other millennials on. I recognize some names. So 81 to 2000, tech savvy, right? Manal had to tell me how to share my screen because I couldn't do it right the first time. Collaborative, focused on the greater good, and that's big. See, that's very different than the first 2. The Gen Zers, 2001 to today, digitally fluent, practical, and they thrive in diverse settings. So again, there's some big differences there, right? Let's talk about what they want. So doesn't matter what role you're in your practice, this is important for everyone to know. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're an office manager, if you have the ability to hire people or not. Once we start to attract new people to our team, it is the responsibility of every single person on the team to help onboard that person and make them feel like they belong on your team. So it doesn't matter what role you're in, you need to understand what motivates people so you can understand how they're wired. That's what builds a really solid team. So the baby boomers, they want a profitable, secure retirement. That's important for them in their timeline in their career. The Gen Xers want incredible work-life balance. Millennials are more interested in flexibility and freedom, and that means a lot of different things to different millennials. And the Gen Zers are looking for a brighter future. So you see those differences? How fascinating is this stuff? Let's look at what the baby boomers want in terms of from their employer. They want a loyal employer. They like a typical culture. They want to mentor people. They want respect. Let's bring it all the way down now to the millennials. I'm going to skip the Xers for a second. They like empathy. They want meaningful work. They want to be trained. They want flexibility. And this younger generation, right? Manal, hate to tell you, you're not the youngest working generation anymore. We've got those Gen Zers. They are looking for culturally competent employers. That's so different, right? We're all over the map. So what can we do to leverage what we know about them? Baby boomers, we want to leverage their optimism. We want to offer them opportunities for collaboration. Gen Xers, give them credit for their work, engage their critical thinking, assign tasks that they can complete individually because they're a little bit of that lone wolf mentality. The millennials need really clear leadership. They cannot meet or exceed your expectations unless they have absolute clarity on what your expectations are. That's your fault as the leader if you're not providing that for them. You need to offer them immediate feedback, especially reinforcement. And those Gen Zers, give them tangible examples of best practices. They learn very different than the other generations. Let them discover on their own and share overt gratitude for their contributions. Really cool stuff, right? And here's another slide. I'm not going to read them all to you. Feel free to screenshot this, guys, because we're going to jump onto the patient side of this in a second and trying to understand how we need to be marketing to the different generations. But this is really fascinating stuff. And we've got so many clients now in my company, in Smile Potential, that we're working with that have really leveraged the understanding of these generations. And they've got people who on the surface, you would think that these people would not be able to work collaboratively and that they would butt heads and they wouldn't share and grow together, but they're really learning that I can learn so much from a millennial or a Gen Xer or even a baby boomer, and conversely, they can learn from me. So taking the strengths of people and combining them, that's how we become unstoppable. Stop focusing on the differences as a negative and look at the differences as a strength. So let's take that, if I may, Manal. Do I have a couple more minutes? Can I jump to the?
Oh, you of course have. Yeah, no. You have
right.
time.
I'm going to jump to the employee side of that now, the patient side rather. My apologies. And I think I might be up on this. Do I have a green line there, guys?
No, we see your original.
All right,
we
all
saw
right,
your original one first. Yeah, and while we were talking about this, so there is something that so with the Gen Xers and the boomers, something that, because we know we have a lot of people who have millennials, Gen Xers, and the boomers, right? And
Yep.
something that I advise people to do when they're working with their team of different generations is literally have a list and give it to every team member and say, what do you love doing and what do you hate doing?
So true.
And it's so funny because the boomers will tell you, oh, I like to talk to the patients. I like the extra time. I want to be, I want to have the Christmas party we have every year. And then like the millennials will be like, I want our new patient forms to be changed because they are too slow. I want this to be done, or this is what and actually when you see that, you'll be able to see that they're going to balance each other out. And the best teams are the ones where you have different generations because they all have different strengths. And they really are like, I hate talking on the phone. I am a true millennial. Like, send me a DM. Don't even like text me. Like, I'm not going to call you unless you're on my schedule. Like, my friends know this. Send me an email, call me a DM. Don't call me. I even say that when I'm speaking, just don't call me. I'll put the phone number, don't call me. Just send me an email or a DM, right? But opposite to my dad, who's a boomer, he loves to talk on the phone. He wants to talk on the phone. He wants to share everything on the phone, right? So, but you may already have team members who like that. And then other team members who are super savvy online, then, use all of it, maximize it.
You don't have patients, unless you're working in pediatrics, you don't have patients that are comprised of one generation. So that's the beautiful thing of having such a dynamic team. Now, when you're looking, so on the patient side here now, right, I'm screen sharing so we can see the baby boomers. So the baby boomers, they want someone from your practice to pick up the phone and call them. They don't want to get fire hosed with just text messages. That doesn't feel good to them. And it doesn't mean that they don't know how to get a text message. Baby boomers know how to get a text message. They just don't like it. So to Manal's point, if you've got people on your team that love to get on the phone, let them be a little bit more targeted with their time. Let them seek out the baby boomers and even the greatest generation, the baby boomers' parents, if you still have people of that age coming into your practice, and you probably do. Let those baby boomers on your team get on the phone and engage with the generation that holds customer service and relationships above all other factors. They want you to connect with them on their level. Interestingly, and a lot of times audiences, whether it's live or on webinars, it's surprising to people that 82% of baby boomers are using at least one social media platform. So they may not be using the one that you want them to use, but they are on social media. They're not totally unaware. So we can cover, and this is where Manal and Jake are really the experts. They're going to deep dive for you guys on some tips that you can start implementing right away and some studies to prove this stuff. But really get on the phone. The baby boomers spend a lot of money. The baby boomers are good for about $550 billion in annual spending. So if you are a practice that wants to do a lot of implantology, if you are a practice that wants to do a lot of full mouth reconstructions, you really need to be focusing on baby boomers, because those are the patients that are of the age that have the need for that type of care, and they also have the financial chops to invest in that kind of care. So that's a winning combination. When we move on to the X, and that's my generation, and I think Jake's generation, and many of you that are on our webinar here tonight, they also love customer service. Customer service is going to drive their loyalty. They are much more inclined than the baby boomers, though, to use the internet to research. So the Gen Xers are probably going to check your Google reviews. They probably are going to check your website. So that stuff, you know, in my opinion, a lot of practices have gotten really lazy with their websites, and it's a mistake, because there are still some generations that social media is not the end all be all for them. They want to vet you someplace that they feel is a bit more qualified, like a website. And Gen X is a perfect example.
And
of that.
reviews, right? Like they
And
want to be
reviews.
able to look at how good you are with your
They
reviews.
want to like cross check, you know, they don't want to just look at one thing. The baby boomers and the Gen Xers, they need a little bit more proof of concept. They need to kind of cross verify a little bit more than the younger generations. And that's important to know, because again, the Gen Xers are probably going to be nearing that age where they need more comprehensive care. So if you're in a multi-specialty practice that wants to be performing all of those services in-house in a much more comprehensive way, these two generations are really your target audience. So don't leave them behind in your marketing. And also don't leave them behind in the way that you engage with them real time in the office. So again, big spenders, the Gen Xers, they're good for you know, another 357 approximately. So let's get down to those millennials. Their loyalty is hard to gain. They are extremely loyal once you get them, but they're not, you know, they're not easily tricked, right, Manal?
Well, you know, the issue is the boomers grew up with loyalty. This is when they would have a job for decades, right? The Gen Xers grew up during the Amazon generation. They are the Amazon generation. So they are used to convenience, but they want to go online, look at the reviews. That's how reviews even came about. Because
Exactly.
I don't even buy shampoo without looking at reviews anymore. But the millennials now, we know we have options. Like I know I can go to Google and look at your reviews. I can go to Yelp and I can go to Nextdoor and I can check out who you are and I can go to your social media and I'll compare your Instagram photos with the other competitors' Instagram photos. Like I'm working right now, you know, trying to do some real estate stuff, like looking at like builders and stuff. And literally I'm talking to my husband saying, I really like this builder because I love their Instagram and I see what they're doing. But then I also know there's another builder. So it's hard to gain my loyalty because I have options and I have choices.
There's a lot of options. And so you know, you have to win the millennials over in a very different way. They're not just going to be quick. Like they're not going to fall in love at first sight.
They're fact checkers, they're researchers, because they're from the information era. They can digest information faster than anyone. Because
they were born in a world where the information just flowed so freely. And before that, right, we didn't have that. You had to actually go out and seek information. So the channels were very different. And this stuff really matters, guys and gals, when you're thinking about what you're going to market, when you think about who you are and what you have and what you're trying to attract, you cannot have a spray and pray mentality. You have to really hone in.
We've noticed a lot of the millennials are those, you know, they're tagged as price shoppers, but they can become some of your most loyal patients once you do give them a reason to consider you. And then you earn that trust over time.
For sure. And, you know, like Manal said, they do rely on those reviews in their blogs. They don't really love traditional ad formats. So, you know, they want to see cool, trendy Instagram ads. They want to see websites that are loaded with videos. They want it to feel more authentic and not just like canned content. The previous generations are going to tolerate that more. Millennials are going to realize that the photos in your photo gallery on your website are the same photos that the last website had. They have a high attention to detail, doctors and team. You can't trick them. So, you know, this is all what you have to have in your mind. And again, the millennials are all grown up now. They're not kids anymore. So they're big spenders. They've got a lot of money. A lot of them are very interested in things that all of you would love to be doing more of, such as aligner ortho, cosmetics. things of that nature, more elective type services. So they may not need a full mouth reconstruction because fortunately they're younger and a little healthier, but they might someday. And until then, they need all of these really super fun elective things that they could benefit from. So we've got to hone in on that. The Gen Zs, you know, I think everybody gets stuck on the millennials, and we sometimes forget that the Gen Zs are growing up now too, and they're coming in. The older version of them, they're coming in as adults. Some of them are married, some of them are in their careers already. They're not babies anymore. So we have to understand them as well. And they really invented it. You know, if we say that Manal's generation invented the Google review, then we can definitely admit that the Gen Zs invented the influencer and all of that. The whole idea that we just follow some stranger because some stranger showed us something on Instagram and now I have to have it. And I have no idea who that person is or if they even know what they're talking about, but I have to have it now. So it's super fun and cool to peel back the layers and understand this stuff, because then when you're working with Manal and you're working with Jake and you're trying to hone in on your marketing strategy, you've got a plan. You've got a plan that makes sense. And it has to still come back to what type of care do you wish to be providing? Now, obviously, we're all dental team members and dentists. So yeah, there's going to be some bread and butter dentistry, but most practices should have a niche of some kind, at least one. Do they want to be doing implantology? Do they want to be doing cosmetics? Whatever that is, it's got to relate to the types of people that you're trying to attract. If it doesn't, none of it makes any sense. And so even our little baby Gen Zers who are all grown up now, they're still good for like almost $150 billion in annual spending. These kids have good jobs now. They're out there earning a living. So don't think that you can just breeze right past them. They're going to grow up. They're going to have families. They're going to have even more earning income opportunities. And they're going to want what you have if you can create loyalty with them, which is not that easy. You're going to have to work hard for it. So if you guys are interested in these slides, again, Manal's going to put some contact info up at the end. I'm going to pitch it over to you guys. I know we want to stay on time tonight. Thank you guys so much for letting me share those couple of slides.
No, Kelly, that was amazing. And, you know, kind of landing up on that with a couple of marketing strategies, guys. So from what Kelly said, right? So let's say you're trying to attract boomers to your practice, especially for the full mouth rehabs for implant cases. And we know they like talking on the phone. So what should every piece of marketing that you are doing to attract the boomers should have? In big, bold, bright colors, it should have your phone number that says, call here, talk to us. We have after hour appointments. And now a lot of them are retired. So they will take that 10 a.m. appointment slot that no one wants, because they will come and they're like, this is great. I can show up at 10 a.m. but there's nobody there, right? They want the TLC. They want the extra care. And then you also want at the opposite end, a friendly, patient, kind team member who gets on the phone, answers all their questions, makes them feel like they are their mommy and daddy, right? Like the best thing in the world, and how you're accepting. Now, if you were to move to the Gen Xers, these are busy parents. These are parents who have young kids, adult kids, but they are very busy lifestyle. They are still working, they are building. That means that they don't have the time to call you at 3 p.m. in the afternoon to make that appointment. So what does that mean? That means you need to have online scheduling on your website so that they can make that appointment at 11 p.m. at night when that's the only time that they have. And if you were to move to the millennials like myself, I will 100% send you a DM, a direct message, like on Facebook or Instagram, or live chat with you before I pick up the phone ever. If you have a live chat option, I will do that. And I don't even need somebody to live chat with me. I want you to have automated messages for me, because I don't have time to talk to you about how my day is going. I don't care enough to share about that, right? But I want to go and say, do you take my insurance? And I want to know the answer right then and there, instant gratification. Now, Facebook offers free chat that from Messenger, directly from Facebook, could be added to your website. It's free, and it has automated messages, and you could directly talk to people. So you don't have to pay any company to add a chat on your website if you wanted that. So 3 different generations, 3 different call to actions on how you kind of do that. And I know that Jake has a lot of brilliant things with it, because I see questions coming in here. I know, will there be a recorded version? We had multiple people ask us that. Maybe there will be a recorded version. I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out,
Stay tuned.
Okay, Gianni asked, what is the best method and system strategy you have found to connect, relate to the widest range of generations?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh,
go
ahead.
Jake, go.
No, I was just going to say, I love that question when I saw it come in, because I feel like the answer is what Minal was already talking about, and both of you have already addressed, Kelly as well, but having multiple calls to action on your website is the only way to answer that question. It can't be just a book an appointment or just a phone number that's I saw one the other day that killed me. Their phone number wasn't even a tap to dial enabled. It was such an old website, and luckily they were calling so that we could help fix that. But having some of my favorite things on the website now with the web chat that can convert into a two-way text conversation, Swell is a great partner that we've used for a lot of our clients to have that. If you don't want to get into the Facebook Messenger and you don't feel like that's something you can tackle and you're willing to spend, Swell is a great tool to allow and enable two-way texting. Make sure that your phone numbers and your addresses on your website are a quick tap on a mobile device. Know what percentage of your webpage visitors are on mobile versus desktop, because then you know who really how to communicate with them and enable those features. So I think that we kind of addressed that question, that you have to have multiple calls to action to enable letting them call, shooting an email with a lead form that you can track, and having a call tracking phone number to be able to record calls and listen to your staff, hold people accountable. All of that, I think, kind of addresses that question.
And, team, I know that we have a lot of team on here. And for those of you that know me personally and have worked with Smile Potential, you know that we are big believers in call tracking numbers. We are big believers in secret shopper calls, which we do. And you've got to have thick skin, right? You can't take it personally. If you find out that your practice puts a call tracking number in to track the number of leads that are coming in from some of these marketing endeavors, it's also a training tool for us. We have to have the thick skin to play those calls back and be self-critical and say, could I have said something better on that call? Could I have given less information, more information? Why didn't that convert into an appointment? Maybe we had a generational difference. Maybe I wasn't empathetic enough. Maybe I had a boomer on the phone and I was too mechanical, and I could have spent a little bit more time engaging that patient. So that's the way you really hone in. So, a little bit to double down on what Jake just said in response to that question from Gianni, you have to really hone in on each individual generation and know that it's not a one size fits all, but have fun with it. Have fun with the interpersonal skills. If you're in that role where you're engaging with patients from any marketing standpoint, internal, external, really start to master the skill, and don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as a fun thing. This is how we help people make better choices for themselves. And isn't that really what our responsibility is as healthcare providers?
I mean, 100%, right? And I think we have to kind of do that too. Another tip that you can do, guys, is people need to see themselves when they come into your landing pages. I need to know that you kind of see my generation, you understand me. So yes, there is a tech and the call to action where as soon as you see that, and I can see that I can send or do an automation, I know that I like you already because I'm saving time doing this. But this is a great time where you want to take generationally diverse photos of your patients that you serve.
Yes.
So a lot of people in the chat boxes are saying that, hey, we work with boomers and millennials. I asked that question. Everybody's saying, I see a lot of boomers and a lot of millennials. So that means that you need photos of boomers and millennials on your website. And maybe you have a boomer photo and say, full mouth rehab and implant cases, right? Maybe you're a millennial and say cosmetic care, on-time appointments, and what are the things that matter to me? I want to be seen on time as a millennial. I want to make sure that you have cosmetics for me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook all day. I need to make sure I have a beautiful smile. So what are some things that I need? And how can you provide it to them? Maybe for the Gen Xers, the families, you want to talk about your membership plan, the fact that you could see the entire family at the same time. So now they know that they don't have to come to the dentist 4 times. Everybody can come together and could be seen at the same time. But utilize visuals. We are visual people. That's why there is such a growth of social media. We like to see content and we like to see things that are relevant to us, right?
Yeah.
So use real photography, real videography of real patients, and you could really guide them through that too. Okay, another question, and then Jake will move on to you. So we have another question. I have seen Gen Z not as much on top of the things. For example, not coming in for their recalls. How to work on that to explain the benefit of keeping up with their regular cleanings? I have an answer to this, but I would love to hear from Kelly and Jake.
Okay, so I'm going to chime in really quick and then we'll give everybody a second. So for me, part of this is really just the beauty of being young. And no matter where you're at right now in your life with your age and your generation, we can all remember that moment in our lives where we really felt invincible. And the Gen Zs, they're the youngest adult generation. So of course they feel that they're invincible. It is hard for them to understand that, just because they're in their 20s and they've never had a cavity, it's hard for them to see a point in their life where they might have periodontal disease or they might have, high caries risk. I remember there was a time when I was a very young woman working in dentistry, and I was the youngest generation in my practice at the time, myself and a couple of other younger ladies. And we had women that were a generation or two above us. And I can remember these women telling me, not really dentally related, but socially, you have to wash your makeup off at night before you go to sleep, and you have to put moisturizer on. And when you're 22 years old and you have perfect porcelain skin, you think that's never going to happen. So the thing with these Gen Zers is they feel invincible. And so we do want to create a feeling and an experience for them that wants them to come back. It's going to be really hard to make a health connection for people that are really young and super healthy, but you can create an emotional connection with them through the experience. You can create the convenience. They're in and out really fast. They don't have to go through 47 steps to get their hygiene visit. They're in, they're out. They have, maybe not every practice can do this right now, but it could be a goal. Put the TVs on the screen, get the really cool Bluetooth headphones, make it an experience. If you want to attract those younger patients and you want them to stay loyal, raving fans, you've got to speak to them from what's cool to them. And they don't want to just show up to get their teeth cleaned. They want to feel like they went out and did something that was worth their time. It was worth leaving their house, which there are not too many things that they think are worth leaving their house. If you could come to them and do their hygiene visit in their living room while they watch Netflix, they'd like that a lot better, but we're not there yet. So that's my 2 cents on that.
No,
Jake,
I love
what
that,
about
Kelly.
you? Yeah.
I was going to say that one thing to add to that is I think it starts with the staff on the phone or over the text or confirming the appointment, leaving them excited about their visit.
Yes.
Give them a reason to want to come in and meet you. It's something as simple as, you're confirming the date and time and helping your staff to follow that up with just what's your closing statement that leaves them feeling your enthusiasm to meet them in person. And it can be that simple as to say, look, I'm so excited to to get the chance to meet you in person on Thursday at 2:15 when you come for your appointment. If you have any questions, this number accepts text messages or, depending on who that audience is. If it's the younger audience, those Gen Zers that are just not following through and you're finding a lot of gaps in your schedule, let them know. And even I've seen staff go as far as to say, is there anything that would get in the way of you coming to this appointment that we should be aware of? And when you ask that question, they'll say, no, well, I do have class. That's a common one. Or, well, I'm trying to make this fit in with my schedule because my work schedule is here or there. So asking that question puts a little bit more of that sense of accountability of welcome to adulthood. Right. You've just made a commitment, and I look forward to fulfilling that commitment with you if you will do your part. But I think sometimes we're hesitant. It's that old adage, that old story of, addressing the pink elephant in the room. And if you go and sit down in your friend's house and there's a big fat pink elephant sitting across the living room, are you going to sit there and carry on a conversation for 20 minutes awkwardly seeing the pink elephant out of the corner of your eye? Or are you going to say, dude, what's up with the pink elephant?
And Jake, I love that point that you made about really creating that accountability and creating that connection, adult to adult. Do we have a commitment that this works for you? And I also just want to say to tag along on that, not just the time that you expect them to be there, but give them an expectation on how long they should expect to be there. Because yes. We see this, like I'm live from Midtown Manhattan right now. We have a lot of practices that practice in New York City. And a lot of times these younger patients, they're in really high pressure jobs and they make a 1-hour appointment. They show up on time, but they want to be out in 15 minutes. Well, that's not possible. So you really have to let them know, yes, we're looking for, we can't wait to see you at 2:15 on Tuesday. And it is a 1-hour reservation. So
Yeah.
they should know, because otherwise it's disappointment in both ways. Now the hygienist is frustrated that this 22-year-old came in and they only want a 15-minute cleaning and we had an hour set aside. So
Right. Have you ever had your teeth cleaned before? I just want to
Right.
make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Are you sure your mom made this appointment? Is it okay for you, right? Does this time work for you? Do you want to call and confirm with your mom who made this appointment for you?
And maybe
But,
this is too close to my heart because I have a 12-year-old going on 15 that is just already making decisions that I say, you're not going to fulfill that, sweetheart. So let's help you reality check. So.
Another thing that I kind of do on that too is, so this generation is, as you saw on Kelly's slides, is very cause driven. They want to be a part of something that's bigger than you, that's bigger than themselves. They do not like to be sold to, even though they follow an influencer anywhere in the world. They still don't like to be sold to. That's why they like influencers, because they think influencers are not selling to them, when clearly that's the opposite. But they think that they are not selling to them, right? So something that I think with Gen Z is so great is you come up with causes. So I know that there are practices who support the zoo, or who support childhood hunger, or who support St. Jude's, or even locally you're supporting a pet shelter, right? So I'll give you an example. I had a practice was doing a pet shelter supporting. And what we ended up doing was we actually created into that and said, anybody, if you show up on time on behalf of, and they didn't have a very big patient base, so we were able to do this, but if you show up on time for your appointments, we are going to be giving $1 for you to showing up on time to the pet shelter. And, they would have photos of all the pets on the wall, and they will send the photos, and in the appointment request email, there will be a picture of all the pets that they're supporting at the shelter. And now the Gen Z are telling them, by the way, when the confirm, by the way, make sure you come up on time because we are supporting the local pet shelter this month. And they're like, oh, what? Yeah, we're going to have all these, they're like, oh yeah, definitely, I'll be there on time, because they care about something more than just being at the dentist.
That's right. They're social do-gooders. They're social do-gooders. And especially if you have a hashtag or some other way, something that they can then share to their following, so that their following knows that they are doing good. Because it's not enough for them to do good for themselves. They have to do good because people are seeing them do good. And so
I mean, even if you have a therapy animal in the practice, right? And you are doing, hashtag dentist with dogs or whatever, you're going to come up with fun one, and, helping the pet shelter, help, choose adoption. And you come up with different things like that. And now they are going to be definitely taking those selfies, and they're definitely going to be sharing them on social media, because Kelly is right. They don't just want to support it. They want to show off that they're supporting too, because it makes you feel better. I mean, do you go to the gym if you don't post about going to the gym? I don't know. We can do this all night long. Jake, take us in the numbers.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can. Now that you
bit.
guys have labeled me as a Gen Xer, I don't know if it's because my hair is so white and gray already or what, but sheesh. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes,
sure can.
Perfect.
Oh, it's a miracle. I clicked it without any coaching. Okay.
You're better than I, Jake.
So for some reason, my name is labeled as Jake Richens. Richens is one of our other workers that works here. So they just mixed our names together, but I'm Jake Goetz. A couple of things that I want to just cover with you guys today. Take a screenshot of this because there's a lot of data on this one, but I want you to just kind of get a little bit of an idea when it comes to your annual budget and understanding, okay, now I know how I'm going to address things on the phone. I know how I'm going to get cheeks and seats. How do I allocate my actual budget? And as a practice, what I've done is I built this with kind of some recommendations based on business best practices for small businesses. So DSOs may take this to a whole new level. If you're part of a dental service organization, obviously, if you're in a really rural community versus a very saturated, high population density community, this is something that I've built over the past 11 or so years that I've been doing this. And giving credit specifically, some of you may recognize some of the approaches across the top. This was originally done by Dental Intelligence in cahoots with a bunch of other marketing companies to try and find what are they seeing coming into the practice management systems that they were extracting data from to see allocation of budget and lead source tracking, which nobody's really cracked the code on doing it the most accurate way. We all know that. I talk to clients all day, every day asking, Jake, how do I track my ROI on X? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. But most importantly, what I've done, the goal for anybody starting a practice is I want to be $1 million practice, and then they build building blocks on top of that typically. And so if you want to be $1 million practice and you want to grow and you want consistent growth, the recommended allocation of your budget should be based off of your production, or what they labeled as gross income here. So if 6 to 8% is typically of your gross income, if you're putting 6 to 8% of your production every year back in on $1 million practice, that's going to equal about $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month, allocating that across multiple channels to help you reach your goals. If you want accelerated growth, like my brother-in-law is right now, just bought into a practice, he's a new partner, he's looking to really grow and feed, 2 big providers and expand into their new practice that they've just built. They're going down the road of accelerated growth right now because they have the capacity to fill those chairs. And so that's where you may get upwards of 9, 10, even 11% of your production that you're putting back into your brand awareness strategy, how you're making the phone ring, how are you working on your recall. So this is something that I'm happy to share with anyone at any time. But this is just kind of a basic spreadsheet that showed some fundamental principles, kind of putting a dollar amount in place. Now, if you want to throw in the chat, if you're a scratch practice and you don't yet have an annual production line, I would recommend that you put a consistent growth strategy in place at the very minimum, and that you try to allocate and fund based on the size of practice you want to be. And don't, yes, there's ways that you can do it. And Minal will talk a little bit about how you can leverage social media for a very inexpensive rate. But if you want to be a $1.3 million practice within a couple of years, there are some ways that you can say, okay, what would 6% of that be? What is 5% of that? Where is my comfort level? How can I fund this to start bankrolling my services and really start printing the money that I need by getting these people started so that it funds itself? And what is the fast payback marketing channels that I can use compared to those that I need to maybe play the long game? So when it comes to budget allocation, there are a lot of ways that you can start to break this down. So I wanted to give you a quick example. This is a client I've gone ahead and removed. I'm going to show you a quick case study of things that we have done. And any questions as we kind of go through this, feel free to fire them off, and we'll stop here in a moment and I can answer any of them.
And everybody take a screen. This is genius. Like, everybody who asks how much money should I look at this, like take a screenshot of this. Is that okay, Jake? I mean, yeah. I may need them to send your slides to them later, but this is brilliant. Like this information right here.
Yeah, so this is an example of what I did for a practice who told me, look, Jake, I've been doing about $490,000 a year since the pandemic. And even the year leading up to the pandemic, the best trend I was at was $540,000, single provider, 3 chairs, but they really wanted to be $1 million practice. And so I said, look, if you want to be $1 million practice, you've got to have some foundational marketing services in place as a business. And where people sometimes get lost is they don't know where to start. And so foundational principles 1, 2, and 3, get a website, make sure Google knows your website exists by doing some proper search engine optimization, indexing of your site, getting Google to crawl your site. Those are just basic fundamentals to ensure that your website is with relevant content so that Google sees you as an expert and wants to start ranking your information. Having a social media presence that Minal will talk a lot about. I sat in on and I had never told you this, Minal, but I sat in on one of your webinars a few years ago, and I got a hand cramp writing down your little pro tips that you were giving, because I've done this for so long, but there were little things you kept saying that I was like, that's genius. How come I didn't know this? Why wasn't I doing this for my clients? And I've consulted hundreds of practices over the years, and social media presence is something that if you don't know social media, if you are a boomer and you just hate social media, like I kind of do, even as a Gen Xer, it's a necessary evil. And there is a lot to be said for even just hiring somebody to create you a simple presence. So what you see on the monthly cost column of this slide is first and foremost, this is just the Gargle costs. This is me wearing my heart on my sleeve a little bit. This is what we have created for our clients. So those monthly costs are what I charge at Gargle for these services. There is a various range, a drastic range of what some people will do, but basic SEO with website management, if you're spending about $400 a month for that, and then you add on having somebody get in and just help you create a presence and start posting a few times a week on your social media, we charge $150 a month to do that. And then just getting some engagement and getting a following is kind of step one. But nobody's going to follow anything without content. So you got to start putting content out there and keeping it personal. Something that Minal has said for years is Facebook has the word face in it for a reason. Get pictures of people, don't just put stock images. And I loved that. And we changed our entire processes at Gargle because of that guidance 3 years ago that I heard from Minal. And we literally now have a process in place for our clients. Minal will love this, but we have a process in place now where literally we just tell our clients, you need to have everybody on your staff, even if you have a no cell phone policy, you need to actually challenge your staff members to sneak a picture at least once a week of somebody in your office, catching them doing something great, whether it's complimenting a patient, sanitizing an op, pulling a prank on the boss, a little quick video. And we just have them text or email that to our social media team, and they incorporate those pieces of content directly into our posting schedule. So now you don't even have to worry about posting it. You just give us a caption, the name of the practice, you text it to our team, and our team schedules it to go out and get into your feed for you to drive awareness. So we started doing that because we were tired of the feedback from practices saying, it just doesn't have my personality. It's not worth $150 a month. Well, now I have clients who tell me, Jake, I would pay $500 a month if you would just continue to do this more and more and more for me. But we will never, no marketing agency will ever do as good of a job on your content of social media than you will. So make a process to gather that information, to collect it, and to share it. And if you don't know how to do it, find an agency that can get that content from you and do it for you. Google reviews is another foundational marketing principle because of everything that Kelly was talking about. If you don't have a system in place to get you more Google reviews, you're in trouble. You're missing out on a huge opportunity. Not only do Google reviews show the credibility factor and the relevance, it allows for keywords to be put in there that you can then respond to those Google reviews utilizing those keywords. People are often afraid to respond to Google reviews because of HIPAA. Well, get the cat out of the bag, guys. If the patient discloses that you gave them a same-day crown because of an emergency, you sure as heck better respond saying, we're so grateful, Susan, that we could provide the same-day crown for you in your emergency dental situation. They already said it. You are not in trouble to repeat what a patient discloses to the universe. So don't be afraid of that. I'm not going to give you legal advice, but I am yet in 11 years of consulting practices on marketing best strategies. I'm yet to have a client come back to me and say, Jake, I just got penalized for repeating what a patient said in a Google review. Minal, have you ever seen, Kelly, have you ever had anybody get slapped for that?
No, absolutely not. You're right. If the patient advertises that they're your patient, if the patient advertises their procedures on the internet or on any other platform, then they have just said that they don't have an issue with privacy for that particular scenario. So correct. That's it. It doesn't mean that you can reveal their whole chart online, but you can speak to what they just brought up themselves, for sure. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, you can also simply just have them sign a form, right? So I always have them sign the consent form that we could talk, but the consent form also includes we would use your photos and your name in our marketing.
Right.
And when they consent to that, now you have their consent. So it's nothing. But again, with the Google reviews, my thing is always do a one-liner. Like, you totally made our day. Thank you so much. Sending you a virtual high five. Oh my God, this is so awesome. Thanks for making our day. Or, like you usually do one-liners or whatever. So people know that they, at the end of the day, reviews are 3 forms, right? The first form is the current patient knows, whoever wrote the review knows that they got a response because Google alerts them. The second thing is potential ones are, the ones that are going to see and be like, wow, they really care. They look at the reviews. And then the third one is Google loves it. So every time as much more active you are on the Google My Business page, the more algorithm you're going to climb, because Google wants you to spend time on their page, just like everybody else. So the more time you spend on Google, the better it is for you.
Awesome. So with, having a service that will automatically send out an invite, a lot of practice management systems now do this, but it's a bolt-on service. And you'll find that a lot of those bolt-on services with your practice management system are not as efficient or as effective if you don't have other tools in place in the practice to make sure people are expecting that Google review. So one of the things, I know a few of you already responded back and messaged how much you love Swell. We've worked with Swell for a long time. The thing that we've loved about them is that they've made it a science. They strictly focus on getting you better reputation management tools. And so getting you something that's around $150 to $250 a month will pay you back dividends if you're not currently seeing your Google reviews climb, because they have something called review velocity. You want to get a lot of reviews and you want to get them consistently. And if you're getting them consistently and getting a lot of them combined, not just a burst of, hey, I got 50 reviews this month, and then you don't get any for 6 months, that's not going to be as good of a benefit to you as getting them consistently and getting them to actually post a comment and invite them to share their experience. Not just, will you give me a Google review, but would you be willing to share your experience? We always want to improve as a staff. So one of the other things that you can look at on here is the running total over on the right. If you're $1 million practice, that's $60,000 a year at 6%, right? So if you're going to do that and you need $5,000 a month, so what are some other things that you can do that are now ROI marketing services? So this section down at the bottom, what's now going to cause my growth? Pay-per-click ads are going to make the phone ring. Social media ads are going to drive traffic through your website, which coincidentally makes your phone ring and gets lead submissions and all of those things. But this case study I'm going to share with you, this is just an example of ways that you can allocate a Google ad budget, a social ad budget, because every single market is different. You may find that you need to spend way more than that on Google ads to make them effective, or way less than that. Or maybe social ads are out the window for you because you've tried them, or maybe you didn't understand what you were doing with them. So there's, doing direct mailers might be your answer, billboards, radio. I mean, there's a million other channels that you can look at these days in disseminating what is your brand awareness strategy and what are you going to do to educate the market, so that when you run a targeted campaign for those procedures that you want and those types of patients that you want to see, that your conversion rate is better. So this is a quick case study that I'm going to pull up. That's not it. There it is. So this is a social media procedure awareness ad that we've been running for a client of ours for quite a while. This is something that we started doing for a lot of our clients, where we actually had, instead of like a contact us, for a long time, we had a click to call and we weren't getting any clicks. We changed it to a learn more and a contact us, or, show me more type of call to action button. And it became this education where we created landing pages on the website that gives them information. When people are scrolling through social media, this is a great way to say, hey, we offer Invisalign. We have clear aligners, learn more. Or, another one that we did to drive website traffic was, Minal mentioned earlier, your in-house membership or savings plan. You do not need to give away the farm with strong offers. Don't devalue your services, build value in what you're providing the community. And when you're doing these types of things with these awareness ads, I want to show you some statistical analysis of this case study. So when we started doing it in September, they were just doing content and posting. Their number of web page sessions was less than 50 a month. They were getting web page visitors from social media about 50 times a month, 50 unique web page visitors. We turned on the awareness campaigns for Invisalign and their in-house membership plan, and they doubled it the first month, and then they almost tripled it going into the second month. And Minal knows this. There is a learning phase with social media ads that's about 30 to 45 days. do not think you can just turn things on like with a switch nowadays. You really need, with your marketing allocation, you need to give yourself an opportunity to win your money back. And the way you do that is to complete the learning phase and then use what you optimized during that learning phase to your advantage and run it as long as you can afford to. And it's not so much what's the cost as much as what's the opportunity cost if I don't do this the right way. Because you can burn your money very fast in ad spend if you don't put a strategy in place. And this client now, they came to me the other day and said, Jake, I've been doing this now just for a couple of months, and I haven't had one person tell me that they're getting that they saw me on social media. Well, guess what, folks? People are embarrassed that they're on social media. It's a necessary evil. They're on there all the time, but they're not going to say, I made a very educated, well thought out decision to find my dentist and see these professional
Unless they're Gen
decisions.
Z.
Yeah, right.
Or a millennial. Unless they're a millennial or a Gen Z, then
Right.
yes.
Right. And so, but those big cases are rarely going to admit the fact that they found their implantology practice on Facebook or Instagram.
Well,
So
I mean, come on, let's keep it real, guys. That a lot of people, when you're making, I love those landing pages, Jake. That's just so brilliant. But think about that, right? Where are these people when they're looking, when they're scrolling their social media and hitting that ad and clicking learn more? They are laying in bed at 11 o'clock at night. They might be in the bathroom in their house when they find their dentist with their phone. Like, it's not, a lot of times they don't want to admit how they found you because they know it was kind of gross. People are taking their phones everywhere and they're scrolling these pages and looking at things in really not such appropriate places. And it's like a dirty little secret. So I get that. I think you're so on the money with that, Jake.
No, it's so true. So giving them an opportunity to learn more is a huge, huge win. And that way they can also, what happens when you get a click on social media is that it opens a browser on their phone, right? So then they can come back to that browser when they want to make a phone call, but they can at least do the research in their private places that they need to.
That's right.
Well, plus you're retargeting them now, right? So I know we are coming towards the time, but plus we are also retargeting them. So one of the things that happens is with social media, you can add pixels on your website, and every time somebody clicks on your website through a social media ad, they are now being tracked. This is the reason I have so many shoes. I blame it on the tracking. I mean, every time I look at an ad with a shoe, the next thing I know, my entire feed is with shoes. And the next thing I know, I have all these boxes coming with shoes. It's literally what's going on, but it's because you are being retargeted. And retargeting is huge and it's brilliant. And that's what allows Facebook, Instagram to be multi-billion-dollar companies, TikTok, LinkedIn, because of retargeting. So don't take it lightly. Like, we just did an ad. I was talking a dental practice in California, and he got 180 clicks on his website, and the ad ran for 5 days.
Yes.
So, that's kind of one of the that we do have 2 questions, and then I know we will get it done, guys. The best strategy to ask for Google reviews, is it better to ask in person?
Yes, I would say do it. Put a QR code in every operatory. Put a QR code at your check-in and your checkout desk, telling people, if you scan this and give us a Google review, we'd really appreciate it. Or scan this and share your feedback of your experience today. You don't need to do it while you're waiting now, unless they're an existing patient and you have an amazing relationship. Say, hey, have you given us a review yet? Just be real with them. It's addressing that pink elephant in the room. Give your staff a tool to point at and make it easier for them to invite in person. But then also, people will be busy. If you're a super efficient practice, you're getting them in and out, and there's not a lot of waiting time, then don't send them a Google review right as they check out, and don't invite them immediately upon exiting. They're getting back to their daily routine. Wait until after 6 p.m. If you can send the invites between 6 and 7 p.m., you will see a much higher open rate, click rate, and response rate than if you send it any other time of day. And that's another reason why we love Swell, is that they do it based on your region's highest open rate and click rate. Again, they've made it a science. So that's why it's worthwhile to have a tool that also follows up with it. So yes, I say, Sana, it's easy to send out or to invite them in person, but oftentimes it's not as comfortable to them. So it's mentioning it in person, making it easy with a tool in hand and right there for the staff, but then also inviting them via text message or email based on their demographic later in the evening will also help. And then getting them to review in the office. I saw that question, Judy. You know, how do you get patients to do reviews in office? They wanted to go home. I'm not a huge fan of doing it in office unless you know you need to pass the time. I'm much more prone to giving them the opportunity to do it later on in the evening. How and where do you get a QR code, Minal? That's probably...
I know it. It's just go to canva.com and they can create QR codes for you. Canva, CANVA is in Victor. And I think the review thing, it also depends on generations, which I know Kelly knows, because Dr. Whalen just said that their review game has really improved once Smile Potential started working with them.
Yeah, so just
Kelly,
chime in quickly on that. So we're really big believers that, yes, I agree. Statistically, everything that Jake said is 100% on the money. You need steady reviews, you need consistent reviews, you need you can't have a 2-week period where there were no reviews and then you have 2 weeks where you have 20. But so what we also know is that the material that is in the reviews matter, right? So if you've got 500 5-star reviews and they all say, Manal, the hygienist, is the best. Okay, that's good, but that's not compelling for people who need really comprehensive care. That's not going to be the thing that resonates with someone that's fearful. It's not going to be the thing that makes someone think this is absolutely the right cosmetic practice for me to finally take that leap of faith and go and do a cosmetic case. So you want to really identify those patients that have a story to tell. And we believe in asking in a really patient-centric way. And so if you know a patient has a story to tell, they overcame a fear or phobia, they went from having something they were really embarrassed about to being super proud of their smile, really lean on that. And again, this is not just for your baby boomers and your Xers, because remember that the millennials and the Zs are social do-gooders. So if you lean on them and you say, your experience, you being so nervous about having your teeth cleaned, about having your Invisalign started, you were so nervous about it, and now look at how everything has turned out for you. You're incredible and you're so happy. You would be helping so many other patients if you could just take a minute. If you want to scan this QR code now, or we'll send you a link later, if you could just go online and share a little bit of your story and how things turned out for you, you would help so many other patients that maybe have the same fears that you had. And that is really what Dr. Whalen said. That's what moves the needle. That's when you get people that will write a legitimate book about why you are the best and why other people should choose you. And so having all those little fluffy 5 stars are great, but if you can plug in pretty consistently the people who have a real authentic story to tell, that's when you see the needle move with people that are choosing you specifically because of one specific review.
Awesome.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah. So I'll wrap up real quick and we'll jump to the next one. But one of the big things with Google pay-per-click ads, this is how you get your phone to ring. And having a company now, Google has changed it. So to track an ROI, you really need to have a landing page, because if you don't have a landing page, you can't put a call tracking phone number on it anymore. And so having your website company also optimize ads is very beneficial from a tracking and an optimization standpoint to help drive down your cost per click. And so the pay-per-click ads equal phone calls. This is something that same client, they wanted to complement their Facebook presence with Google presence and going after the key terms specifically of what they were driving awareness and education for Invisalign and their in-house membership plan. So we were bidding on key terms that drove for things, dentist near me, dental implants, and Invisalign. They wanted an implant ad. And one of the other things that I wanted to point out, Google pay-per-click ads now have a 60-day learning phase. So the old days, boomers that are on here, of you just turning on Google ads like a faucet when you want and turning them back off when you don't need them, those are gone to optimize your cost per click. Look at the cost per lead. When we started this campaign for this client, they were spending $300 per lead the first month. It dropped all the way down to $150 the second month. And now we're down below $90 per lead for implants, Invisalign, and dentist near me, all across the board combined. And so the longer you run it, the more efficient and the more effective you're going to be. so that you can optimize those campaigns and really truly drive your marketing dollars back into the chair in a way that you can pay yourself back. So do not allow yourself to run those ads in a way that you're just turning them on and off like a lot of us used to do back in the day. The last thing, oh, it won't let me click through to my next slide for some reason. It's frozen. So that's my cue. I'm done. It's over to you now.
I have hypnotized technology to make
That's
it go
right.
the way I want it to.
She's
It's the
that
millennial
good.
magic. It's the millennial magic. No, guys, thank you for staying a little bit later. So just FYI, in the chat box, I've been sending you all the resources. So I send you the link to Canva. I also just sent you how you find out what your Google My Business page link is. I got you. So, all right. So I'm going to get into my stuff in a very weird way. I'm going to share about social media, but I was just recently coined as a marketing therapist. Apparently, that is what I do. So if you have any marketing questions, if you hate marketing, if you love marketing, you don't know where to get a QR code or get a Google My Business page or how to reply to a review, just come to me. I'll give you a couch on Zoom and then we can talk and we'll make things happen and work. But today, I definitely want to go in through the social media stuff. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a poll here, and I want you to go ahead and vote on it. So what is your business active on? Right? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, because I will share specifically those things with you. So I'm getting a lot of Instagram. So where is your business active right now? Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram. It's like a dance. Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Instagram. All right. I know you guys are here. Go ahead and vote. If you're doing dishes, stop. Go ahead and vote. Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and Instagram. All right. So Facebook and Instagram are clearly the winners. They're almost half and half. Everybody, Facebook and Instagram. Perfect. Wow, you guys are really, I think you stopped watching.
Neck and neck.
This is neck and neck. So it's good because that's what I was going to talk to you guys about. Anyways, but I wanted to make sure that nobody's here on TikTok, because then I was going to bring in TikTok as well. But Facebook and Instagram are the two most prominent and most active platforms that are there for social media, right? Now, and I'm going to go through this really quick, guys. So take a lot of notes. I'm also going to be, you will see that I am a fan, again, millennial comes out in me. So I'm a fan of this kind of stuff. So you will see that my notes are on my screen here. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, take a screenshot. I'm smiling. Okay, you took it, great. Then post it and tag me. But you see there's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It tells you the generations, right? Facebook is still very popular. It's also one of the best places to be really active to get new patients. Do you know why? Because it has Facebook groups. This means everybody in your community, everybody, all the moms, all the dads, everybody in the community goes to a Facebook group and says, who's the best dentist in town? Who takes our insurance? I'm looking for this, right? And then everybody talks about it. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you are active on Facebook groups. Now, Instagram is great. I'm going to share a couple of tips with you for Instagram as well. TikTok is interesting. TikTok is the #1 downloaded app globally. We know there's a lot going on in the news right now with TikTok. Google and Apple may kick them off. They may keep them. There's a lot of data issues, privacy issues. I have practices who are doing amazing at TikTok. My own person in my team who does TikTok training, she's a dental assistant herself, and she has over 75,000 followers. And all she does is talk about airway. And she has 75,000 followers. I have clients who are succeeding on TikTok as well, but TikToks are kind of hard to make it work because unless you love doing videos, you can't do anything else on TikTok.
Right.
So unless you are willing to do videos, you can make it on TikTok. If not, I totally understand that. There's also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a super powerful audience base that you need right now if you're a specialty. So if you want to connect with specialties, if you need to get medical referrals, this is where think of LinkedIn as the less creepy way to connect with somebody, right? Like if you go onto Facebook and if you send somebody a friend request, they're going to be like, do I know you? Do I not know you? I'm not too sure. But LinkedIn is a professional network. So you can go to LinkedIn and, for example, let's say you're a specialty. You could do pediatrician, Manhattan, New York, and LinkedIn will show you all the pediatricians in Manhattan, New York who have a LinkedIn profile. And most people have a LinkedIn profile. They don't even know about it, but they have it. And all you have to do is press connect, and now you're connected with them. And if they're active on LinkedIn and they post something and you comment on them, they're going to 100% look you up and be like, who just commented on it? LinkedIn is very different than Facebook and Instagram because LinkedIn also tells people when somebody checks out your profile. The stalking happens on Facebook and Instagram because people don't know you're stalking them. But LinkedIn will send you a notification saying this person just checked out your profile. So when you do that, they know who you are and that you checked out their profile. More likely, they will click on our name to figure out who your profile is, right? and check out the profile on that as well. So let's talk about Facebook and Instagram. Now, I'm going to do a couple of things on here. Oh, do we have somebody who came on here? Dr. Allen? I'm confused. Oh, I'm not sure what just happened there. Okay, so let's go ahead and
we're going viral, Minal.
we are going viral right now. I don't know I have no idea what was going on there. So that's interesting. Okay, so
Did I click something? I don't know, I might have. But Dr. Allen, I'm so glad you're here.
Dr. Allen, for now, you are actually a part of our webinar. I apologize that you're on here. I'm not too sure what happened there. So let's go ahead and talk specifically things about Facebook and Instagram. Facebook. All right. So everybody on Facebook, if you are not friends with me on Facebook, you need to be. Here is Facebook. So that's my link onto Facebook. And I want to show you a couple of things on here. All right. So I just sent you and send me a friend request there because my business page is a training page. Now, if you go onto Facebook, there is 3 things you need to absolutely do. The first is the cover page. Whatever you are marketing should be on your cover page. Usually it's like a random thing that you have on your cover photo. Doesn't work because anybody who lands on your Facebook sees your cover page on your phone and on your computer. So currently I'm having a workshop. I do destination CE events, and I'm having a destination CE event in Turks and Caicos in July, which is a hands-on marketing workshop, all the fun stuff, right? So if you go onto my desktop, you actually see that. You want to do the same thing. If you're marketing dental implants, if you have use it or lose it, if you are doing membership plan, talk about it because this is free marketing for you because anybody who lands on your page is going to see that. The second thing, your posts need to be divided between educational and fun. You're going to post 4 times a week. If you're going to post 4 times a week, 3 of those posts should have faces. So listen to me. 3 of those posts should have faces because Facebook, face. Now, if you're going to have the 3 of those posts have faces, the 4th one could be anything random. Okay, it could be, and please just try not to do random. I know sometimes we just need to, but if you're seeing even 5 patients a day and you're open for 5 days, it's 25 patients that you're getting. And I'm just asking you to share 4. I mean, this could be a photo of the doctor, photo of the team, photo of the patient, and then random, whatever 4th thing you want to share about, doesn't matter. And you can actually schedule everything out. So as a social media coach, I love to work with internal team members who can do so much of this because at the end of the day, you know your practice, you know your culture. This is how things can really start to convert well. So if you are going to do it 4 times a day, now I'm going to go ahead and I actually do want you to click on this and go to my Instagram. So take out your phones, go to that QR code right now. It is going to bring you to my Instagram so you can follow along with me when you are on Instagram. So let me know when that is done, please, because I am going to share with you my actual Instagram and it's live on training. Did you know that? Did I market that? I didn't market that, did I? But you're going to get it anyways. Okay, so are you on my Instagram? I hope you are. And if you are, follow. Follow. Okay, so you're going to now see my phone in a minute. So Instagram is divided into 4 different things, if you see on here. The first thing is your picture, right? You want to have a picture. Now, a lot of you have picture as a logo. That's totally okay. But the second thing is, do you see where it says speaker, marketing strategist, social media coach, RDH? A lot of you have your practice's name there. It does not help you. Your username, you see on the top, it says Minal Sampat LLC. Minal Sampat LLC is my username. People already know that. What you need, where it says speaker, marketing strategist, what you need is cosmetic dentist in Manhattan, pediatric dentist and blah, 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 general dentist and blah, blah, blah. You need it to be where people know where you are located because that's SEO on Instagram. That's right. When people go onto Instagram, they search and they're going to search dentist in Manalapan, New Jersey. Well, then you better show up, dentist in Manalapan, New Jersey, right? So you can do hashtags, but Instagram is getting better and better. So that's the first thing. You want to make sure that you're changing that. This is a very new update that has happened on Instagram in the last, I don't know, Instagram probably had about 800 updates in the last 2 months. This is one of them. So you want to change that up. The second thing is you see where it says digital creator for me. That digital creator is what is your actual profile like. So if you go to edit profile on your Instagram, follow me along. So I'm on my business page. I'm going to click on edit profile. You see that on the left side. Now, if I go in, you see it's category. I am a digital creator as a category. You can click on that and you could do dentist. And when you do that, you see you get all these options for dentists. You want to select the right category that you have, because again, this is how Instagram's spiders, Instagram's algorithm knows who you are. Then you have your profile, and then you have stories. So as you see on here, at the bottom here, I have like all my story highlights. Now, there's a lot happening here, so I can show you different things, but every time you share a story, you could convert that into highlights. So you will see that I have story for Turks and Caicos, because clearly we are marketing that right now. Tips, happenings, marketologist, my book, right? Different things. And then if you look at the content on Instagram, it's going to be a little bit different. So what I mean by that, so I want you to pay attention to this as well. Let's say you are on Instagram. Can you share the same stuff on Facebook and Instagram? Sure, but here's the difference. Instagram is great with hashtags. Facebook, when you're on Facebook and you see more than 3 hashtags, it's actually considered spam. So please don't do that. If you're going to share on Facebook and Instagram, make sure that your hashtag game is changed, because people on Facebook ignore things with hashtags. It's a different generation. They really don't care. They don't know what a hashtag is. When they look at all that, they're like, what are you doing right now? It doesn't make sense. Instagram hashtags are to make sure that you are being found. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is how you share your content. So there is content on Instagram. The number one content that works on Instagram are Instagram Reels. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg has come out multiple times, and I can send you the slides, multiple times, has made announcements saying Reels are the number one thing that we are really looking forward to. That's what we are going to work on. So if you're not working on Reels, that's a problem. You need to be working on Reels. So Instagram with Reels, and I'm going to show you some Reel options because I already created Reels for you, so you know how to make Reels. You know, it's all about creating fun education. All right, so let's take a look here. And you are now going to see my phone in a second. So you see there's posts, there is Reels. So I want you to look at some of the Reels here. Now, if you look at a Reel is divided into 3 portions as well. The first thing with a Reel is, does it have a trending sound? So is it something that's trending? Now, if you go to most of my Reel are going to have a trending sound because that is what I use. So you could use any one of my Reel here and use an audio there to make it into a trending sound. The other thing that you can also do, if you look at the Reel here, is on the top and bottom, do you see I have written? That's called a hook, something that hooks somebody in to watch that video. So if you don't have hooks, people don't know what they're watching and they won't click on that video. So you want to give them a hook, like the email subject line, that will allow them to share something. And then the third thing, and this is perhaps one of the most important ones that you want to focus on as well, is your actual video. So if you see on here, people always tell me, well, I don't like to dance. Well, I don't dance either. I hardly dance. I only dance when I'm at my speaking engagements and I make all the doctors and all the dentists dance with me. So if I'm doing a conference, yeah, we're going to do a 2 seconds dance, but otherwise we are not going to do a dance. So with Reels is the kind of content. So I want to show you a couple of examples. Let's say you were to go to this Reel right here, right, with the 771. Now on this Reel, you see I'm kind of going through and I'm sharing photos. You could easily do that. So if you go back to this Reel and if we watch it, you see how it starts with a very quick video, but then it's photo and photo and photo and photo. You can easily do this. You could start with something with team jumping in the air, and then you have photos of before and after. Or maybe you have the team and the doctor coming towards the camera, and then you have photo of something happening at the practice. So you can create all this content specifically based on that. And you will see that I have created a lot of separate content for you. So in here, for example, if you see this Reel right here, which says, here's an easy way to find trending audio, save that Reel because I'm telling you how to find trending audio. Again, I made the Reel so you know what to do. So you can click on this and I will show you exactly how to save a trending audio. When you go to any of the Reels, click on the 3 dots there, and then do you see how it has the option here to save? The third option, save it. Now, once you save your content, you can go back to your business profile, click on the 3 lines, and then go into the saved option. When you go to the saved option, it will show you all the stuff that you have saved. So I recently just saved this one right here, right? So you have it. So you can always go back to it. So creating all these content. So there are a few Reels I want you to check out. The first thing is I just recently shared this one like yesterday for you guys. What you should be doing during the holidays for social media. I have the strategy for you. Use it, copy it, steal it. I don't care. This is what I do. This is what I coach you on. So take that same strategy, use it. Then I also have different strategies on 7 hook ideas. So, okay, Manal, I get it, but what do I put as a hook? I got you. Here are your 7 hook ideas. That's all the dancing I ever do, by the way. So all the hook ideas, save that Reel, use those hooks. I know what your next question is going to be, but what do I share in a reel? I don't know how to put this reel together. You know what? I understand that as well. And I even created one for you that has all the reel ideas. I even have how do you get more following when you have how to get conversions with a small following. So all of that content is actually in this content library for you, which are all the reels. And I want you to think about something here too, right? When you're looking at some of this content as a part of building reels. So even if you're sharing 4 times a week on Facebook, you can share 4 times a week on Instagram as well. The same thing, the 3 faces. But the 4th thing on Instagram is going to be a reel. Because the more reels you do, you are going to always get a higher reach. Like a reel, I can easily reach a lot more people than I could reach with a photo or a regular video. It's just what happens. And that's why I'm sharing all this information with you. So on Instagram, if you have any questions, please let me know about it. And I can definitely share more and more content with you. And what I can do is, because I know we are already over time, here's what I can do for you is if you want tomorrow, tomorrow I can email you guys like all the reel ideas. Would you like that? Tell me you like it, because otherwise I'm not going to do it. But if you want me to email you all the reel ideas, tell me about all the reel ideas, and I will send you an email with all the different reel ideas that you have. Thank you, Allison. You got it. All right. So you can have all the ideas. I will email it to you tomorrow so you have it as well. And with any of the social media stuff, just let me know. And then I have 2 questions. I'm going to answer them real fast. Active is a stretch for me. Diane, do you mean social media active is a stretch for you? Again, if you are seeing 5 patients a day, you have to take 1 photo. So for example, you have to share 4 times a week. You need total of 3 photos, right? So 1 photo of you as a doctor, 1 photo of you as a team, 1 photo of you as a patient. All right. Allison, what if your team will not participate in videos? All are very camera shy. They don't have to. As a doctor, you can. So if the team can, the doctor can. If the doctor can, the team can. If the doctor and the team cannot, then the patients can. I mean, I work from an office and I have reels going out every day and I have no other person here except for me. So I don't think you have an excuse in this. You could totally make this happen. And you keep it simple, right? Again, you just take photos. And like I showed you with my reels, you can have reels just with photos. It's totally okay. Yes, perfect. Thank you guys. Yes, I will definitely share. I'll definitely share it tomorrow. And in the meantime, I would like to end this on time here. So a couple of things while I pick a winner for the book. Kelly, give them all of your contact information. How can they reach you?
Okay, so I will put it into the chat. I'm going to put my contact information into the chat right now.
Okay. And then Jake, how can they reach you?
Yeah, jake.goats@gargle.com. I'll throw that in the chat, as well as my cell phone. Feel free to shoot me a text with any questions. You can, even if it's on your mind in the middle of the night, it's my work cell phone. I don't check it until 8 a.m. my time. So if it's on your mind, shoot it out.
I love it. And guys, I put in my information too. It's also right here, by the way, Manal Sampat info, Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Do we have the recording? I don't know. I have to figure out the back end of the tech. My team member is sick with COVID right now. So I'll just have to figure out the back end of the tech and see if I can send it to you guys. If I can, I'll be more than happy to send it to you guys. If I can't, you're here, which is amazing. So you got the information. And that's how this works, right? The world we live in today. We do the best that we can. Oh, thank you so much, guys. And if anybody has any other questions, reach out to us. You have all of our information. Oh, and the last thing I forgot to talk about, if anybody is planning to come to Turks and Caicos and write off a trip to Turks and Caicos, reach out to me because you get a discount for attending this webinar. The only thing is there are only 8 seats left, so you better tell me soon, or we will
Make up your mind fast, people.
Because this is almost sold out. So if you're trying to come to Turks and Caicos, please let me know about it, and I'll be more than happy to do that. And on that note, guys, anything else that we missed out?
No, it's always a whirlwind, but hey, we made it with 2 minutes to spare. Oh,
yeah,
your book.
for sure.
We got a book. We got book. Perfect. Okay, so we got a lot of questions. So one of you guys put a number in the chat box, and whatever number that question was wins this book. Put a number. 4. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Allison Heinzman. Allison, you are the winner of the book, Allison. All right, here's the 4th questionnaire that was asked today. Allison, you have my email address now. Allie, please send me an email, and I will make sure that a signed copy of the book is sent to you.
Yes.
Everybody else.
It's so exciting. And you can find Smile Potential, my company, on Facebook, on Instagram. Do give us a follow. You know, you have to seek out the people that you want to follow on Instagram. We follow you back, and on Facebook. It's all great
Yes.
stuff. So find us there.
Yes, Get Gargle Co is our handle on Instagram. Find Get Gargle. I do a little magic minute once a month where I share little tips in like 3 minutes or less. So
helpful. They're awesome, Jake. Really, really great stuff.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. And again, if you have any questions, you have our information, we'll all send out your resources tomorrow. Kelly, if you don't mind sending some slides,
For sure.
because I am getting requests of those slides, and Jake, you as well. If you guys can just send resources to everybody who attended tonight, that would be amazing. And everybody, thank you so much for attending. You are the best. Enjoy the rest of the year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And thank you so much.
Make it a great, productive 2023. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.